Thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim Nakron, and it's time for our segment called In Case You Missed It, just catching you up on some stories that you may have missed, making headlines this week. First, I do want to let you know about some new developments happening in Gwinnett County because there's some work underway to expand, services, particularly bus services, transit services to people all around that community. Obviously, it is one of the Metro's largest counties, and obviously it is on the edge of change now. And Gwinnett County could expand bus services through a 1-cent sales tax. Atlanta News First Rachel Aragon explains how this proposal could help nearly 1 million people.
Major changes on how people get around Gwinnett County could be on the way, but first, residents have to make a big decision come this November.
What does the community want? What are the needs that we have currently in the county?
In a 4-to-1 vote, Gwinnett County Board of Commissioners approved a transit referendum to be placed on the November 5th ballot. If approved, the referendum will impose a 1% sales tax for 30 years to fund up to 75 transit projects in Gwinnett County.
It allows you to get anywhere in Gwinnett without a car. So it really provides a choice whether your car's in the shop, whether you have students who need to get to an after-school activity.
The plan does not include any projects for heavy rail. Instead, it includes an airport ride to Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and enhancing and expanding county coverage by local buses. With roughly 1 million residents, Gwinnett County expects more than 200,000 more to move in by 2050, less than initially projected, and prompting some commissioners to have some reservations about the transit referendum.
We will end up with 18 new bus routes traversing Gwinnett with even more empty buses that will likely take 50-plus years to even come close to being fully utilized.
The $17 billion plan will be split between federal, state, and local funding.
It's about putting the power of this vote to the people. It's about empowering our residents to make that decision and what they feel is best for our future of our community.
In Lawrenceville, Rachel Aragon, Atlanta News First.
And that's the story that we're going to continue to follow, of course, here on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. Okay, let's talk about this Better Call Harry story that we continue to follow. Look at this video. It really kind of speaks for itself. A family says that when builders cleared land for a new subdivision, the runoff sent a muddy river through the family's yard every time it stormed. Better Call Harry convinced Cobb County to speak with the builder, but now the county wants the homeowner to pay for violations. A Mapleton family believes their complaint to Cobb County officials about this new subdivision under construction backfired. Here's Better Call Harry.
We thought we were getting somewhere when we contacted Cobb County. They did issue the builder and the developer a warning, and they were required to make changes, but then the inspectors started looking around at the homeowner's yard and said, hey, you've got a bunch of violations here. We need you to do multiple surveys costing $7,000. Here's the thing, none of this would have happened if they hadn't called the county to begin with. Here's what happened to Jose Vasquez's yard when the developer across the street cleared out acres of land for a new D.R. Horton subdivision in Mapleton. When there's a storm, a river of mud floods Mr. Vasquez's yard and his basement. You okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Mr. Vasquez and his stepdaughter say the flooding carved a trench and poured a ton of dirt into the adjacent creek. It's still there, yet Cobb County Erosion Control concluded in this report that the erosional soil loss was created by the homeowner. It is true. When the flooding started, Mr. Vasquez added dirt to the front yard. He cut down trees with exposed roots and, oh boy, he threw logs into the creek. There's no question, these are county code violations.
Here's the thing. He put down dirt, he cut down trees. You're supposed to take out permits with the county. Does he understand that?
He didn't know he had to get permits. Right here?
Alma Romero, Mr. Vasquez's stepdaughter, says they spoke with the county inspectors a few days after our investigation aired and got an expensive surprise. Cobb County Erosion Control says because Mr. Vasquez disturbed land without a permit, county code requires him to provide a retracement survey, a previous topographic survey, an as-built topographic survey, and an erosion control plan. The estimated cost, $7,050.
How did he feel when he found out that it would cost $7,000?
¿Cómo se sintió cuando se dio cuenta que le iba a costar $7,000?
No tengo dinero para pagar, ¿cómo iba a hacer eso?
He just felt like, what am I going to do? I don't have that money.
A Cobb County spokesperson says the required survey and studies have nothing to do with our story and said the homeowner is free to get other quotes. But what about D.R. Horton and the developer? Cobb issued a warning and required them to make corrections to stop the runoff. And inspectors have gone back several times. Mr. Vasquez removed the downed trees,
It came in here.
but no one is taking responsibility for damage to his basement
Water.
or the trench.
None of this was here before, right?
No.
We've called and emailed D.R. Horton several times, and the only response is the sound of nature.
What he wants right now is just the water. He said if they don't fix this part, he don't care, but just that he doesn't want the water because there's no point of him fixing it if it's just going to keep coming down.
We don't know what's going to happen next, but we will stay on this story. But there is a lesson here for every homeowner, and that is if you do something to your yard and you think, is this legal or is this a code violation? Call your county or city first, because if you do something and they find out after the fact, it could end up costing you thousands of dollars. In Mableton, Better Call Harry, Atlanta News First.
And thanks so much to Harry for that report. Okay, let's head now to Athens and talk about this real-time crime center. Atlanta News First has this exclusive look inside at how police can see all the crime happening in Athens. Atlanta News First Madeline Montgomery takes us inside the center that has already helped solve over 30 cases in just the last 2 months.
This is the preliminary real-time crime center. This is what it's going to become. Right now in the real-time crime center, you can see exactly where cameras are throughout the county, and you can see exactly what they're seeing. A death on campus bringing about change across Athens.
Tragedies like the Laken Riley murder shaped the community. It's a call to action.
The community hoping to never see something similar to the nursing student's murder.
The Mayor Commission approved for additional funds to speed up the process of having our real-time crime center come to life.
So then we can see all the incidents that are going on.
The center connects surveillance cameras from apartments, businesses, body cams, and soon the University of Georgia's campus.
Just in the last month, we're able to close over 30 cases using the real-time crime center software.
Like this incident when police were called about a suspicious person. Cameras quickly showing there were actually 3 armed suspects.
So being able to have the eyes and have the resources to assist those officers that are arriving on the scene and giving them the most complete information not only keeps our officers safe, but also keeps our citizens safe that are there in and around the scene.
That incident ended safely with arrests. The Real-Time Crime Center also helps police solve crimes quicker, like with the deadly shooting of 20-year-old Cameron Monego.
In that situation, we knew where the cameras were. We knew that it was going to capture part of the incident. We knew it was going to capture the events surrounding the incident, and we were able to direct our officers in the right direction, so we were able to identify the suspect and get him into custody less than 12 hours later.
The crime center is being expanded. Officers just need more people and businesses to register their cameras.
I think people realize how useful this technology is and how it may prevent future crimes like this to happen.
Officers are encouraging business owners and anyone who has a surveillance camera to register with them. We have that link on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and on our app. And folks who do register will then use this box to integrate their system. Reporting in Athens, I'm Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.
All right, let's talk about paddleboarding. What a beautiful scene there. And, you know, there's a group of people working to make paddleboarding a safe place where people of really all abilities can thrive. They tell Atlanta News First Sawyer Bussey their mission is to build an inclusive space, welcoming to all.
If you are a person with a disability, society might have all kinds of ideas of what you are capable of your limits. not here. Here on the water with Tender Ones Therapy Services, barriers are broken with the push of a paddleboard.
I have a lot of kiddos that will have difficulty on the land, and then it's something about the water, but they get on that paddleboard and it's like magic. They stand up and they can do something that they've never gotten to do before and something like all their other friends.
Students with all kinds of abilities get in the water with staff members and volunteers for paddleboarding camp therapy. Standing up on the board means trusting yourself, means conquering something new, something some people thought you couldn't, wouldn't. It's all about getting out on the water, trying something new, and pressing yourself. Haley started as a patient with Tender Ones, and now she volunteers, trying to give other people the support that was given to her. The paddleboarding program is 10 years old.
My diagnosis is spastic diplegic cerebral palsy. Can't necessarily still support a child on the water. It's not safe, but even in that, I've found a space on land where I can help be a voice for the students.
There is a lesson here on the water, a lesson that these patients are teaching us.
Imagine how that feels to do something you didn't think you could do.
Our challenges, the ones we can see and the ones we cannot.
Yes! Yes! You did it!
Do not define us. In Buford, Sawyer Bussey, Atlanta News First.
And finally, I want to turn to a life-saving resource passed on to children fighting for their lives. A child warrior saying she found an unlikely weapon in her fight. Atlanta News First reporter Abby Kasoris unveils how she's passing it on to others.
Taylor Brown says this guitar is as good as medicine. Diagnosed with a rare blood disorder, this Augusta teen needed a bone marrow transplant and found her hope here at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta in their music therapy program.
I know that it helped me a lot personally, just looking at our little calendar and being like, oh, I have therapy on Tuesday. That was a good thing.
Her father gifted her a guitar, and with the help of music therapists and her doctors, playing became a welcome distraction. 3 years after the bone marrow transplant, she returned to the spot where her love of music began. Through Make-A-Wish, she is gifting instruments to other patients who might not have an instrument of their own.
I give all of my thanks to not only the music therapy program for even existing, but to Make-A-Wish itself for helping me and carrying out my wish for me.
A selfless act, giving back to other children who need a boost.
A lot more kids who may be in the hospital for about a month, even longer than I was, will be able to benefit from the extra instruments that I've given and the other accessories that I give.
In Atlanta, I'm Abby Kasoris.
And we have more on these stories on Atlanta News.